Well, Manape, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for being willing to talk about our dear friend Holly Bird.
Yeah,
And yeah, and I'm excited for our listeners to hear about you and your work and how your path connected with Holly's path as water protectors in the Standing Rock movement.
mm,
And we can just kind of stretch out and have a conversation.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, I would first. My name is Manape Hocinci Ga. Manape LaMere is my government name. I also have another name, Akichita Hochida. Both of those Hochunk name and a Dakota name that translates to soldier boy, warrior boy. And I got that. I got that name when I was old enough to walk and follow instruction. I got that Hochunk name when I was a little bitty guy,
Hmm.
and I'm Dakota and Hochunk. My mother is Cynthia LaMere Rouse. He's a Rouse. And then my father, I have two fathers. I have Tuskegee Denny, who's a Santee, uh, uh, Ho-Chunk Washoe, a warrior combat veteran. And then the father that raised me was Frank LaMere. He was a warrior in another way, uh, pretty well known in the political atmosphere and advocating for people and families. So that's my parents that raised me. And grew up around Sioux City, Iowa. Bonehead for a lot of my life, and turned it around. And I celebrate 20 years of sobriety this month. And I had to go away for some time and come back, change my life, and and found myself organizing. Uh, I was organizing a run, a spirit run for these youth from Standing Rock. And at the time, I was working for the Winnebago tribe as a caseworker who helped children connect with their ways. It was like a diversion court, and for the tribe, and really blessed. Really, a lot of hard stuff, though. A lot of hard dynamics with families and things, and and it was because of that work that I was called upon for this to help with this run. These youth had already ran from the Cannonball community in North Dakota to a bridge that crosses the Missouri River in a small town called Mobridge. And that's on the South Dakota side. So it was a long running from North Dakota side of the reservation of Standing Rock to the South Dakota side. And they shut down that bridge. And all they wanted to do was raise awareness about this illegal pipeline that was going to come through and jeopardize their water source that they get from the Missouri River. So they did that. Good prayer and a good victory day for them. And they wanted to do more. And it just so happened that Standing Rock and some other places had filed some legal stuff saying, no, we don't want this. And here's our tribal resolution. And we're going to email that to the Army Corps headquarters in Omaha, Nebraska. And somebody said, better yet, what if we took that resolution and you put your stamp on it and we run it down to Omaha to the Army Corps office, which they did. And part of that journey comes through Sioux City, Iowa, where I currently reside. And it turns south towards Omaha, and they decided to run through the Santee Reservation to the west of here to Sioux City and down a highway through Winnebago tribe and through the Omaha tribe and on to Omaha. And we did that. We accomplished that. And I got to be part of a host, not just helping to organize and elevate that discussion. Um, we discussed what to name it. We called it "Run for Your Life,"
Mm,
and that right there, it took off.
that's awesome.
The camp had already been created on day before April 1st, day before April Fool's Day, and that was at what was known as Sacred Stone Camp. And so by the time we arrived to the Army Corps office on May 3rd, a month had already gone by since the creation of that camp. And I'd say I would go up there off and on. They did the runs to DC. They accomplished that. Incredible. And every step was just elevating the discussion, elevating it.
Awesome.
More and more people got aware of their prayer and their effort.
It's amazing how runs connect with Americans. Like, you can talk about a cause and people can be like, yeah, that should change. But people organize a run and there's all this hoopla that the media is willing to do, and people become inspired on a different level.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And not only that, when they make a prayer every morning and every night, I watch these kids mourn. Wow. I watch them not just try to elevate the discussion on an environmental issue, but treaty rights and why is it this way for our people in the 21st century? Why do we got these obstacles still? And you could see that frustration come out.
Wow.
While they're running on the side of the road, and like the care you have to offer them at the end of a day. You never know. It might be another kid another day.
Yeah.
And maybe they're arguing about something, And so the constant care and medicine it takes for them to accomplish those things, really incredible. Wow. And they were the first witnesses to a camp where there was like 4 or 5 people. And then to come home and see 100 people, and then to come home again and see 300-400 people.
Wow.
It's incredible to watch them experience that.
Yeah.
So we were part of it when it wasn't cool yet. And the growth of this movement really affects me. It'll affect me the rest of my life. And that's the same with everybody here. It is truly life-changing. So I helped throughout the summer in different capacities. And I got to go up there in August of 2016, and we stopped at Uncle Arvel Looking Horse, who he carries the bundle, the sacred bundle that the white buffalo calf woman brought to our people that gave us this way of life. He carries that bundle still. And we got to stop at his Sundance and pick up the sage that the dancers danced on during their Sundance. And then we delivered that to the camp. Me and my daughter went up, and she brought the Omaha flag. I brought the Winnebago flag and put that up there. And that was when you could drive by the spot. It was different later, where they put up the barricades and such. But I got to see the very first teepee ever put up in that field. It became an overflow from Sacred Stone. It was getting so packed with so many people that some friends of mine, I later found out that was Red Warrior. And Sacred Stone Camp was divided into 4 direction colors. And my friends are a little more spirited. They pray, but they do believe in direct action. And so they said, well, let's go camp over here on this other side. And they did. And they were in Sacred Stone's red side of camp. And then they were the warriors. So Red Warrior Society. And they moved over to that other side where the big camp became. And the rest is kind of history. We figured close to 250,000 people had come through that camp in that 1 year. Then not even a whole year, like 10 months. So it's really incredible. And I would say that I still hadn't met Holly yet, but that overflow camp got bigger and bigger. And then eventually they changed the name, because a lot of the donations that were specifically going to Red Warrior Camp, that name had stuck for the whole camp. So as different people were getting donations, the original Red Warriors weren't getting theirs. So they said, well, you change the name of the camp. That way we know what's coming to Red Warrior comes to Red Warrior. So they changed the name of the camp to Oceti Sakowin Camp. The 7 council fire camp, kind of what it translates to. So those are the 7 bands of the Sioux Nation. And we were bringing in hundreds of people throughout the week. And then, a lot of people would leave, set up camp, leave their stuff. It just grew, and they'd come back on the weekends and stuff. And so weekends, you're seeing a couple thousand people show up on the weekend consistently. And the lines would be long, a mile long, up until Veterans Day, a call out for all veterans. So all kinds of former combat military showed up, thousands. That line to get into camp was 8 miles long.
Wow.
It was about this time that I had met Holly. So just skipping back just a little bit, November 4th, 2016, we relit the fire to the horn for the first time in 153 years. And the horn was the traditional governing structure of the Sioux Nation. And the elders had taken down their council lodge, which was made up of 7 teepees, and they broke them into 7 individual teepees in a circle. It was getting cold, and the elders weren't wanting to hang out in the cold, so they appointed 9 men to take their place in the respective teepee. The tribes, the different tribes, the 7 bands of the Oceti Sakowin, we had to take our place in those teepees. And the seat of honor within that is the Manape Hocinci, which is the Isanti, which is what I am. So I fulfilled that role in that teepee. And basically the premise is like from here on out, the younger men, all actions, everything we're doing is going to go through them. And security is going to be under them. And we had hundreds of people for security. So that was a big pain in the ass because it was like 5 different security groups, plus all the veterans, the thousands and thousands of veterans. 20,000 veterans showed up that weekend.
Wow.
A couple weeks later, we took the oath in front of 5,000 people to become these headsmen. And right there is where Water Protector Legal Collective, who was the legal team to field all this stuff, all these interactions with Frontline, everything, a lot of things. But they were in close counsel with us because just a lot of reasons. So that's where I met Holly. I was eating in the casino. I finally got a break, and somebody took us to go eat. And a mutual friend of ours introduced her and a couple other attorneys to us, and we all just sat and enjoyed ourselves for a moment, took a breath. I think me and Holly's first conversation, I was enjoying a bowl of ice cream. She remembers that, and she reminded me of that. So over time, our engagement was kind of rather limited when we could. A lot of it was serious stuff. It wasn't really like social interaction. Now, our first time meeting, though, was more like a social interaction, which was nice. And, but she had seen me do different things throughout the camp. And we dealt with a lot of things, not just frontline action stuff, dealing with people in jail, dealing with people that are having psychosis in camp, triggered somehow, some way by the state sanctioned violence. People we had to send home. We had to find bus tickets to get them home, or homeless people that came and now what? You're causing problems. That people brought in alcoholism and drugs and all kinds of stuff. All the hard things any other community has to deal with, we had to field it. And so we worked a lot with Water Protector Legal Collective, not just in fighting the pipeline, but just the social aspects of a camp that large. And that's where Holly really cut her teeth on huge organizing, huge, like just ridiculous. And then even after the camp, we had the evacuation of the camp, we still had to deal with cleaning up of everything and dealing with Sacred Stone Camp stuff and a lot of stuff, just a lot. And then even after the whole camp was gone, we still had to deal with a lot. And somewhere in there, Holly invited, it was right around 4th of July, 2017. Holly invited me and the friend the auntie that introduced her to me. She invited us out to Michigan. And she had showed up, and this auntie had showed up and said, "Manape, you want to come with me?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So we went, me and her, all the way up to Mackinac Bridge. I didn't even know that existed. And before we went there, we stopped in Flint to some native resistors in Flint. And then we got on the road and got up to Mackinac, and we went and made some prayers where they're putting, what is that, line 5 or line 3? Line 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we put some prayers up, and Holly was really fascinated that big security guy, all serious. And then when we were putting our prayers out, I'm noticing all the wildlife and the plants and the flowers growing, and she was like impressed with my love for Mother Nature. And I think that took her by surprise, because at that point she had only experienced me all biz and camp, so she got to see me enjoy the world, even just the small things. A little damselfly landed on my finger. I remember a little blue damselfly, and she took a picture of it, real close up picture. And little things like that would catch her attention. And I think with that, she really felt compelled to continue working with me, or engaging with me just in regular conversation and such. And so we had left where we made that prayer, and we took an incredible photo, me, her, and Auntie Paula Anton. Incredible picture with Mackinac Bridge in the background. We got our fists up in the air. Beautiful. It was like right at sunset. And then we went back to Flint. And, those were that was a native resistance camp there. And a drive-by happened while we were there. So we got the hell out of there. That was 4th of July night. And I remember driving through northern Indiana and Illinois. And I remember watching the community's fireworks going off. And at that point, I hadn't experienced a 4th of July in town in a couple of years. So the next year I did, and I didn't like it. It reminded me of the front line. Those booms and bangs were really hard to deal with. So I can't imagine a veteran in combat having to deal with 4th of July stuff, the trauma and triggering that comes with that. So anyways, we come back to South Dakota, and she's still involved with legal protective stuff, water protector, legal collective stuff. We're still in communication, dealing with this problem, that problem. We still had people that were facing serious charges. Red Fawn had gun charges. She got snatched up on the front line with somebody's stolen pistol. And then later we found out that pistol was planted on her, but she was already doing her time. What can we do? Other brothers were facing years of arson for burning down that National Guard truck. And then we found out that it wasn't even them, but they wanted to go ahead and do their time anyways. So kudos to those men. And, Holly helped us understand the legal aspects that to try to help people that are being, I wouldn't even say racially discriminated against. I would just say, like, anybody that is standing in a space to protect the environment. We were all considered jihadists. We are listed as jihadists in the Department of Justice the Department of Defense. Or here in the U.S., it's wild. So we all start enduring these crazy labels and these situations and court cases, and being in the leadership role that I was in camp. A lot of that information was through communication with me and Holly. She helped keep me apprised of people's situations and how to pray for them, and letting me know what I needed to pray about for these people and how can I help besides just prayer, right? And every now and then she'd be in South Dakota for some event, for something that's going on. She was active still in like some hearings and stuff that were happening at the state capitol, and I got to see and interact with her there, and then just bit by bit, every now and then, we would just have some downtime doing, just enjoy life. And I think what really solidified our future together as incredible friends. One of my friends was coming into town when one of the new Star Wars movies was coming out, and she got us tickets. And I can't remember how, but Holly was around, and I was like, dang, man, this lady can't make it. She was in New York State, one of our dear friends in the movement. She was coming to town to go to Star Wars with me and Sunrose. And she couldn't make it. She said, give somebody else a call and use those tickets, enjoy yourselves. And somehow Holly was around, and she came and enjoyed going to the premiere that night at midnight. And so that was like real friendship stuff right there. Just bit by bit, our friendship grew. We grew to love one another. We grew to genuinely care because of the trauma bonding. The just the regular bonding was even more valuable.
Yeah.
She got real close with my companion Sunrose and my nephew Andrew, and my mother. She got to visit my mother, met my mother. I think she stayed the night one night, and yeah, it's been interesting. Just a real intimate space we don't always get to enjoy in frontline movements, and everybody's so cynical and guarded, and with her, we got to enjoy our true selves with one another. It was cool. And so after some of that, she was working on all different kinds of things, and she felt that I needed some kind of medicine. I needed like not just any medicine, but like a Michigan medicine. And that's where she invited me up to Harvest Gathering. And I was like, well, tell me about a music festival. I ain't never been to no music festival, so tell me about it. Because where I live in Nebraska and Iowa and South Dakota, we might have a music festival for a day, like just multiple bands throughout the day, and it's cool. Everybody goes home, and you still got the weekend. But I'd never been to like a multi-day festival before. And she invited me up. We figured it out, got there, and me and her had a special way of like, when I, before I got there, she's like, yeah, when you come up, I might have you do some things, and might have you talk about some things. And I'm like, well, what do you mean talk? It's a music festival. What do you mean talk? She said, there's panel discussions and there's things that we participate in to help educate the community. And so it's not just a music festival, it's more than that. And there's all kinds of things you could do. But there's a few things that we're going to ask of you. Okay. All right. And she didn't even have to, by that point, she understood me and I understood her enough that me and her would just step into these spaces and just knock a home run, like we could just share. And we could just share our experiences. Like, there wasn't much of a debrief. It was like, hey, we're going to go in and talk about this. You got that? I'm like, yep, let's do it. So it was cool, so natural. And we always worked well together in that capacity. So, and then on top of that, I got some of that Michigan medicine, and I had never experienced that level of talent that I felt deserved more than just being Michigan famous. That's what I call it. I don't know what anybody else calls it, but I was like, wow, how does not everybody not know about these guys? All of these guys are great. And people do, but yeah, I just became a fan right away. I'm a good fan. And I was like guarded when I first came, just checking it out, and then the second year I came, I got to loosen up a little bit, and I knew what to expect, and I knew that I could be more open. It's okay. I don't have to be guarded, so I stepped into that space, feeling better about everything that you guys were doing there. So, somewhere in all this, we dreamed about what we could do in Michigan. And I just want to say that not only was it about something personal, like, hey, Manape, man, I think you need to come up here and get this medicine. Come and enjoy yourself, man. There was something else there. And I really feel that I had mentioned it before in different places and events, but Michigan really showed up for us at Standing Rock. There was a lot of Michiganders up there. And I think I kind of mentioned that to Holly a few times, and I think that's why she also reached out to me. And she's like, "Oh, so you want to do your thank you to Michigan? This is it. You come and you help us educate a little bit and encourage people to do the right thing. You already do that. So if you come up here, you get a little bit of medicine, and then you'll leave a little bit of knowledge too." And I said, "Oh, yep, that's I'm down. Let's do it." And so after my second year, I got to share some of that medicine with my buddy Donnie that you met. And I was able to tell him, "Hey, Donnie, man, you got to come check this out, man. This is what you need." And he came up and his life's changed. So that's the probably the biggest impact that has nothing to do with Standing Rock, really. But yet it does, because we're contributing too with our knowledge and our understanding of things. But it was just music. It was just music. And every time I'd go up to visit Holly, it wasn't just a lawyer or a judge, legal, blah, blah, blah. Man, she had a wonderful taste and knowledge of music. And to watch that pour out of her, I'd never seen that before. We was always suited up, ready to play ball, So, finally we got to really enjoy just being good human beings, And I already seen it in her, because I'd been around her in ceremonial capacity or legal capacity. It's not the same, man. Like her true self, I got to really experience that, and it helped me. It helped me kind of soften up a little bit, because I'm raised Bear Clan with the Hochunk, and I carry myself a certain way, and not just her, but then everybody else that come to Harvest Gathering, man, really helped soften that facade, I guess. And it reminded me of a story that Crazy Horse would go and visit the Cheyenne. And you ask the Cheyenne who Crazy Horse is, and he's a great guy. Loves the kids. He's pretty funny. He loves to gamble. He's a great gambler. He's actually wins a lot when he gambles, but when you talk to the Ogalalas about it, they're like, "What?" He is the most stoic person. And I realized that he could he didn't have to be on duty when he was in, when you already have other warrior societies protecting the camp, so you can enjoy yourself. So that's what I think the gist was of us bonding with something other than fighting the fight, the good fight, and then just to be reminded of why we fight. What are we fighting for? Just the love and the kindness, no matter what race, color, creed you are, that everybody's enjoying music and everybody's speaking love. So perfect. And just our message, the message was the same. It was just presented in a different package from what we offered Holly in Lakota territory, and then what Michiganders are offering a Dakota up there. It's a good trade, but that's kind of like the summary of
It's beautiful.
our things. But man, I'm telling you, the stuff we endured during and after Standing Rock. A lot of us suffered in our relationships.
Yeah.
Just from the trauma, and Holly was one of the ones that was able to. She knew truths, and so she was able to hear me out when I felt like people weren't understanding. People were people take sides over gossip, and Holly was the one that just kind of stuck to what she knew, and she's held me accountable for some things before too. I seen her get snippy with me and hold me accountable, and I guess, ma'am, sorry, my apology. So, but it's great to have friends that. It's really cool to be able to have friends that you might not have agreed this moment, but now you're cool, and we got past that. So really felt like something old school. You don't see that too much. At least where I'm from, you don't see that too much, and felt reassuring. And then and then she introduced me to Title Track, and I feel like, meeting people here and there at Harvest Gathering, and then actually starting to create energy with you guys is really amazing. And I see the talents, and I feel the things that are going on, the mourning and the hardship. I feel that from everybody. And so, man, I working with Title Track and being on the board and contributing something, just to be better relatives of one another. I think we're all on the same page, and I offer nothing but encouragement for Title Track, all of us. And we got one relative that's working on the other side, knows about us, worked with us, and she's more powerful even on the other side now. So that's how I think of it. We'll get stronger. We'll overcome whatever each one of us is going through. And I feel so honored to have somebody like Holly on the other side that knows us and knows what we'd want, and she'll be advocating. She'll advocate to the Creator for us. I believe that, she's already told the Creator what would be good. What are we working for? What are we doing together? She's already spoken. And so we just have to understand that and believe, keep pushing forward with our thoughts and ideas. And the Creator, I think the Creator wouldn't allow me and you to meet right now if the Creator didn't want that. So we're sharing what we can, working together, and man, I just feel so proud that we got the time we did with her.
Yeah.
And I guess my advocacy in the future is that the Creator just whatever life he might have had wanted left, that it be given to her children, to her loved ones, to be shared. Let the Creator share that with them. That's my thought. And then the things that she worked in, the social justice reform and the utilization of music as a therapy for all of us. All those good things, those good works. And I don't know if the Creator would disagree with that, and so we just believe and keep moving forward, just like the buffalo. That's probably the number one thing that got reinforced at Standing Rock, is moving forward like the buffalo. So thank you. If there's anything else, just feel free to kick me some questions, or I'll do the best I can.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. It's beautiful to know somebody who was able to really throw down in those worlds that you described, of like the legal world and being in the trenches of frontline, justice work, environmental activism. But then she could also throw down so hard with just like making you laugh and like,
Yeah.
like dancing at festivals and trying to like add a little bit of dressing to the party, and she would throw that into work in ways with me that were so fun, when we'd work with kids. And obviously she took the work really seriously, and it went really deep with anyone that worked with her. But part of taking it seriously was like helping people be authentic and relax, and bond in a deeper way. So we're building that trust in a deeper way that we take back into the trenches and the courtrooms and the policy meetings. And one thing I thought, though, that that people might not know about, and there's a lot that happened kind of behind the scenes or behind the curtain, but Indigenous Mutual Aid is not really this thing that got publicized, but it was really big, the Eagle and Condor, through COVID. And and Holly kept that going. And I wonder if you want to talk about that at all.
Sure. Just to, during COVID and stuff, we had a reactionary moment, and we seen a solution. And that, and part of that solution was that, well, I'll tell you this, people all over the place, because of our networking, and because people weren't able to like understand what's going on. Holy crap, I can't even. And then now this is shutting down, and then there's 6 feet, and then there's masks, and there's vaccines, and just all this chaos.
Yeah.
We tapped into some of our resources, networks, and just kind of had some people contribute to that. But I also think that some of those little philanthropies, donations, whatever, or cause, kind of follow what's trendy, and but during COVID, we gathered a lot of support, and people grew to trust and call upon myself, Sunrose, Holly, Mulaney, my sister Mulaney, and Lydia. Sometimes it would be somebody in LA that something's happening and we got to do something. Sometimes it would be I remember one time a grandma needed firewood, and we were getting hit with a blizzard in South Dakota. And my sister Mulaney called and said, "Hey, do you know such and such? Is he a good guy?" And I was like, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's solid. He was like, "Okay, well, we need to come up with some money he's got firewood. He's going to take it to this grandma, but I want to compensate this guy. Mm-hmm. He's going to do it for free." And that family's poor already. So just to see the generosity, and and really, when you're in a whiteout blizzard in South Dakota, you're risking your life. So this guy was risking his life to deliver wood that he wasn't gonna. He was just doing the right thing for this grandma. So so I remember they had a little meeting and they said, yeah, we're gonna give him, even though he's only delivering a cord, which is probably about $100, we're gonna get him 300. You know, and we had already coordinated the firewood, but he was just like, I don't need nothing. I'm just gonna go drop it off. No, don't give me nothing. But we got the grandma firewood, and then we broke that guy off a little something for him and his family, just out of gratitude for his bravery and his compassion. You know, I remember that distinctly because he got lost. That's his own reservation, and he needed a little help. So I took my truck out there in that blizzard, and I pulled him out of a little snow ditch that he got stuck in. And he continued on and went and delivered the wood. And I went back to the house and waited, and we got it done. That was one thing. And then remember, an Indian girl was getting out of a situation, dangerous situation with an abusive man, and she needed to put up somewhere. And I think we put her up for 5 days somewhere. Just little things like that. But all she wanted was to get to treatment. And then this man didn't want her to go nowhere. And, so there's a little bit of vetting. It's not just, we can't jump to every situation like that, but she wanted out of that situation so she could go to treatment. And it was like, well, hell yeah, because we don't know if she's going to go back or whatever or something. We don't try to judge like that, but it was just the added thing, like, she has to get out of here. She goes to treatment in 5 days. She needs to be somewhere safe so she can go. And it was like, wow, yeah, do it. So there's a plethora of things that they've done like that. And I think during COVID, it was like, well, we're just going to let some people know that we're doing stuff, and they contributed. But it wasn't like they were really getting it out, like, hey, let us know. It was just, people would turn to, hey, I think I know somebody. I'm gonna call my sister Melania and see if she can help. Let me call my sister Sunrose and see if she could help. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we could, sometimes we couldn't, but it just depends on the dynamics, and everybody just went about their biz. They'd handle it and just do whatever they would normally be doing in life, work, whatever. So that's been the gist of it. And every now and then over the past few years, there's situations that arise, and it kind of happens through our own pockets, and it's been that way. And lately, Holly and Melania and others were like, yeah, we should really organize this a little bit better, because we could have done that through Indigenous Mutual Aid instead of out of our own. It's already hard, mm-hmm. But I think that the positive impact of what they were doing during COVID was like, man, you know what? We need to do that again. We should get that going again. People are having a hard way, and I mean, they never stopped. It's just, right, just the waves of assistance. They come and they go. Like, sometimes it's quiet, and then all of a sudden, bam! It's like 5 or 6 crazy things happening that people need help with. Right. So I feel like assisting the community like that brings them hope. I really feel like, and I don't even like to use that hope, because I feel like it also lets the door in for hopelessness. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this contributes to people believing in good medicine, people that are actually prepared to help somebody, instead of us all just scrambling scrambling, right? Instead
How
of being
you,
reactive, we can be more proactive.
yeah. Yeah. Kind of embodying this sense of possibility in humanity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There is some good in the world, and sometimes, you know what, I've seen it. I've been in, like I said, I've been in recovery for 20 years, and just offering an addict a cigarette sometimes is a lot of humanity in that, or a handshake. You
Mhm.
know, um, who knows what that means to them until 5 years down the road, they're telling their story and they're like, I remember shaking his hand and that handshake meant everything to me. That changed me right there. Something as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I wish we could solve a lot of problems with handshakes, but, but for some reason, people turn to those women, those matriarchs a lot. And, and I feel like Indigenous Mutual Aid, I feel like I feel like it strengthens the backbone of our nation. Our women relatives are the backbone.
Mhm.
They help stand us up straight, and they help contribute to the direction that we turn to.
Mhm.
Those are our matriarchs. And and the ones that organize this are true matriarchs. I mean, just today, me and my companion Sunrose, we were able to, a friend of ours had a baby, and we went and had a little ceremony burying the placenta.
Mhm.
And Sunrose and myself got to educate these young ladies on how this goes, and generally how it goes. Now you've seen it, you've been through it yourself. Now you can encourage any other young lady to, if they want to do that, bury that placenta, then you know what it you know what you got to do now. So awesome day today, and that's the energy. That's the energy that we try to create and encourage from anyone, really. It just happens that there's a lot of Indian people that turn to us. So
Mhm.
um I'd say that Indigenous Mutual Aid covers a lot of things, a tremendous amount of things that are important. It's vetted, and the premise to this is to have some life-changing experience from that. I'm only saying that because I've witnessed that every time. It's like some big thing that really needs to happen, and in the end, there's these big blessings,
Yeah.
and the world needs so much more of that. So,
Yeah.
it's not. I don't want to say it's judgmental, but there is a bit of a vetting process, and but it's always good stuff, and and we really wouldn't be able to do that without people supporting that, and I feel like since Holly's crossed over, those matriarchs want to honor her better. I don't know about better, but like I don't know about more, but they just want to honor her, and organize it a little bit better. Put it that way. And how that translates to how they interact with community, um, that would be their next step. So we're wanting to work with Title Track on elevating that, and seeing how we could be of assistance to Indian country. How does it get how do those reparations start? And I think it starts with Indigenous people that can solve some good problems, some problems that have a lasting impact.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That story was so beautiful, just beautifully said. And I know we got a title track meeting on Monday, so I'll
Yeah.
be there for that one. I'll be on my way to the climate summit. It's in Lansing this year, the one we went to in Ann Arbor last year.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, good luck with
Cool.
that. Be
Great.
safe.
Great
Gin
talking
hard.
with you. Let's talk again
Likewise, brother.
soon. We'll
All
catch
right,
up on live. All right.
Love you. Have a good one.
Much love, Manape. Mama P.
Manape.